Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. We got nerfs, that's right. It's nerf season and a lot of changes, a lot of big changes, but it's kind of across the board except for Murloc Paladin. Maybe talk about that in a moment. Yeah, Predictarian did it again, I guess. It's pretty clear though. I mean, I can only take partial credit. It's pretty obvious what the problems were, but a lot of the fixes were actually pretty predictable. So what do we got? First off, Conjurer's Calling got nerfed. I predicted it would be a 5-mana nerf. It is a 4-mana nerf, so that's not that big of a nerf. And it's understandable. It's one of the best cards in Mage. It's how they do unfair things, as you probably very well know by now. But the reason why it probably didn't go to 5 and stayed at 4 is because they also nerfed the hell out of Luna's Pocket Galaxy. So the history behind Luna's Pocket Galaxy is the card came out, it cost 7 mana, no one ever played it in anything, ever, because it was terrible. So Blizzard, for the first time in the history of the game, buffed a bunch of cards, including Luna's Pocket Galaxy, making it a 5-mana card. At 5 mana in the Saviors of Uldum meta, it turns out that it's pretty good. In fact, maybe too good. I thought they would just really butcher Conjurer's Calling and call it a day. And a lot of that basis was because they buffed the card. It's not like, so it was 7 mana, and they made it 5 mana, and now they made it 7 mana again. I didn't think they would do that. It's literally reversing the buff exactly reversing the buff they did on the card. So, in combination with the Conjurer's Calling nerf, Mage is not so good of a shape anymore. Luna's Pocket Galaxy at 7 is a tough play, let me tell you. It's really hard to do absolutely nothing on turn 7. On turn 6, if it was like a 6-mana nerf, yeah, maybe we're talking 5 mana. It's a very good card, too good perhaps, but I think if they just nerfed Conjurer's Calling into the ground, it would be more or less okay, which is why the Luna's nerf surprised me, but they did the good old double nerf, and they probably butchered the hell out of Luna's. My advice is, try playing Mage still. It's probably going to be like a tier 2 deck, but you want to get those Lunas full dust disenchanted as soon as the nerfs come in. Next big nerf, Dr. Boom Hero card. It's going to 9 mana. Yes, we predicted it perfectly. I kind of expected a more delicate nerf in terms of maybe manipulating some of the hero powers, but in terms of what I expected Blizzard to do, I expected them to make the card 9 mana as per the video last week. They made him 9 mana. It's exactly what I expected. There's not too much to say. Warrior's probably too good, so a lot of the power level comes from this card. Dr. Boom at 7 mana. We don't have the stats yet for the 9 mana version, but the 7 mana Dr. Boom card was the best card to have in your opening hand playing Warrior. Mind-blowing, right? 7-drop that does nothing when you play it is the best card in your opening hand a control deck. So yeah, it's justifiable that they nerf the card. At 9 mana, you're typically not playing like a mech to rush within that few mana distance, but you're skipping a hero power on an already low tempo turn. So it's a pretty fair nerf. I think you cannot keep Dr. Boom at 9 mana in your starting hand. And because of that, we're going to see the play rate of this card plummet. But I think Control Warrior will be just fine, possibly even continue to be a tier 1 deck with this change, just a bit more fair in some ways. Next up, they had to do something about Priest. I thought they would Hall of Fame Divine Spirit. I thought they kind of should Hall of Fame Divine Spirit. The fact that they didn't do that probably means that they will Hall of Fame Divine Spirit later, honestly. It's really that card that poses the big problem with combo aggro Priest, whatever you want to call it. But what Blizzard did is they reverted another buff. So once upon a time, there was a card called Extra Arms, and it cost 3 mana, and it was what we call an arena card, which means it was pretty god-awful and constructed. So Blizzard made it into a 2-mana card, and suddenly it was really good. Too good in this expansion, as a matter of fact. And Blizzard basically turned it back to a 3-mana card. And I think that's pretty fair. I think that will serve as a reasonable temporary fix, but the main problem I had with these combo priests was not their power level, it was their interactivity. You can't really play against the deck if like 20 or 30% of the time they just randomly hit you for 30. Right? Like, that's the core problem of the deck. Like, I feel like extra arms, costing 2 mana, yeah, it gives the priest a really good early game presence, but in constructed, like, there's ways to beat that. There's just not a lot of ways of getting hit for 30 damage, surprise, from they play like a 1/3 minion, and then 2 turns later it hits you for 30, right? There's just not a lot of play. You can't kill every minion that a priest plays when they're playing an aggro deck, right? So that's what I didn't like about priest, and they didn't touch that. But we'll have to see. In terms of their content schedule, the Hall of Faming typically happens on the later side of an expansion, not the start. So it's possible that they will Hall of Fame that combo. Kind of expecting them to, but they didn't do it yet. We got the extra arms nerf instead. Last nerf, and this is a bit of a surprise, but a pretty good one, I'd say, Barnes. You know Barnes? Maybe not. If you've been playing Hearthstone only for like 3 years now, you actually might not know this guy. But this guy, at 4 mana, has been plaguing wild mode ever since it was introduced. Barnes is just kind of ridiculous when you play some decks, particularly Spellhunter and Res Priest, and Blizzard just wanted to kind of disincentivize the play rate of the card just a little bit. It's not going to make a big impact, but those small impacts really matter for the people that are playing these game modes all of the time. So Barnes at 5, cool. Would have been nice like 3 years ago, but I'll take it. And I have been playing Wild a little bit, and if you do have some of the cooler decks out there, I do encourage you guys to give it a try as well. Possibly wait, though, for the 5 mana Barnes nerf. That's it for now. In terms of the meta, what can we expect? Well, they kind of just took the best decks in the game and nerfed them all, except for Murloc Paladin. So you should expect Murloc Paladin. Hope you like Murloc Paladin, because you're going to play against a lot of them. Is your crab hungry? It should be. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in the next one.